Welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be showing you guys a few tweaks that you can make to your content to actually rank higher in Google. These are all like tested methods that I've actually done within the past 2 months, so everything in this video still works. It just takes a little bit of time to actually do this, and that's what people don't like doing. So this is an article that ranks position number 1 for the disadvantages of solar panels. So this website ranks position number 1. As you can see, fairly decent content. It's straight to the point. It doesn't have much fluff, and I'll get into what I mean by fluff in just a second. And if we take a look at these guys, so this is heatable.co.uk, and these guys, they rank position number 37 for the exact same keyword, which is what is the disadvantages of solar panels. So as you can see here, they've actually tried to combine advantages and also disadvantages of solar panels. As you can see, much longer article. If you quickly scan through it, you'll think that it's pretty spot on, but we'll actually deep dive into where they're going wrong. So if we take a look here, and this is one thing to bear in mind, it's really important to actually understand this when it comes to content marketing and writing well-optimized SEO content. So whenever Google comes and crawls your website, it crawls from the top to the bottom. So if you've got loads of fluff, or if you've got irrelevant subheadings that's not actually relevant to the H1 or the primary keyword that you're trying to go after, as soon as Google starts to crawl that page, it's just going to be a little bit confused, and it'll be like, right, well, what is this page talking about? Is it the advantages? Is it the disadvantages? Is it about solar panels? Is it not about solar panels, right? So these guys, they've kept it very much to the point. It's not even got that much content. Now, if we take a look at these guys, right, and if we start scrolling down, they've got certain sections on the page which I would probably just delete. So for example, what is solar energy? Now, if somebody's searching the disadvantages of solar panels, they already know what solar energy is. So you do not need to explain that. You've just wasted this much real estate when it comes to Googlebot crawling and actually indexing this page. Now, the reason why I'm saying that this is important is because some people use SEO tools like Surfer SEO or Phrase, for example, or they maybe even use AI. And sometimes, or a lot of the time, if you're using SEO writing tools like Surfer SEO, on the right hand side it will tell you this article needs to be 1,600 words on average. And if you give that to a content writer, a lot of times, if they're not fully trained or if they don't know what they're doing, for example, they'll just try to get to 1,600 words on the page just so it's a green tick in Surfer SEO or Phrase. So it's really important that the subheadings that they're using and the words and the sentences and the paragraphs are actually on point, because now that Google's using passage indexing, they take into consideration a lot more of how relevant is this content to the actual page. Is it just there to fluff up the page to get 1,500 words on the page, or is it actually relevant to the keyword that you're trying to rank for? Because in a lot of cases, you can go and write a 900-word article and it'll outrank a 1,700-word article that's just kind of fluffed up to be 1,700 words for the sake of being 1,700 words. Now, one thing that I would also recommend when it comes to the further optimizing your actual articles is looking at the questions that's in the people also ask. So for example, what is the biggest risk of solar panels, right? Now, if we actually can do a Control F on this page, as you can see, it's not even got that question anywhere on the page. So just by having this question on the page, it will definitely try to boost us for the main keyword, which is what are the disadvantages of solar panels. So when it comes to the people also ask, I always say just don't be stupid when it comes to looking at this. And what I mean by that is some of these questions, they are very, very similar. So for example, what are the negatives of solar panels? Or that's pretty much the same as what are the disadvantages of solar panels. So I wouldn't necessarily have that on the page. How long do solar panels last? That's a very valid question to actually have. So also another thing that you can start to do is, if you start, if I just reload the page again, if you start to click onto some of these people also ask questions, it's going to show you more people also ask questions. So if I click on what is the biggest risk of solar panels, right, it will give me more questions related to that questions. So if I do how long do solar panels last, for example, you'll see that there's more, that there is more questions being populated. So I would just go through all of these questions and I would basically include the ones that make sense on that actual page. So the next step to actually, if like for example in this case, I'm probably going to be looking at re-optimizing this page completely. So what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to use my N8N workflow here. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to go into this page here. I'm just going to copy this URL and I'm going to do test workflow. I'm going to give it the page URL. I'm also going to include some of the people also ask questions as well. So if I go to the page here, so what is the biggest problem with solar panels? So I'm going to include that. What is the biggest risk of solar panels? Actually, both of those are pretty much the same. How long do solar panels last? Let's see if I can get any more questions. One thing that you can also do as well is you can actually click onto some of these articles and look at some of their questions. So all I'm doing, by the way, just so you guys understand, is I'm just populating this first step. So I'll just place the URL in of the page that's ranking position 1, and I'm just going to look and see if I can get like maybe 3 questions in. What are the negatives of solar panels, disadvantages of solar panels? So it doesn't look like I can get 3 questions. I'm just going to keep it as being just the 2. I'm going to click on submit here. Then it's going to go and do its own thing. So first of all, I've done like a HTTP request. So I've went to that page. I've now rendered that page. So basically what this tool does is it's looking at all of the subheadings of my competitors, and it's going to create me an article based off of what's actually ranking. So this is the actual output here. If we take a look here, so I've got an LLM here set up. And if we take a look at logs, this is the output that it's actually produced with a load of questions and stuff like that. So one thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to run this through Phrase, and I'm going to show you guys like the SEO score as well. So as we can see here, this is just Phrase. It's like a Surf for SEO equivalent, and I've just pasted in the content. I have spent like maybe 5 minutes like bolding some keywords and stuff. You don't need to do that, but as you can see, we've got a score of 79 out of 100. The average score, by the way, for that keyword is 50. So as you can see here, it has done a fairly decent job. Now, part of the N8N prompt that I've actually used is I've included like before and after questions as well. Now, this is kind of like if you want to do this, but the reason or the thought process behind this is sometimes like people may want to read another article, and this is like your time that you can write a little bit about, like for example, how much do solar panels actually save you on your electricity bills. So you could have this as like a H3, for example, answer the question ever so slightly, but then internal link it to a dedicated page about that. Obviously, we're in the UK, there's a lot of government incentives, so you could do an article about government incentives. So this gives you like a list of like before purchase or also after purchase questions as well. So like how often do solar panels need to be cleaned? What kind of maintenance is required for solar panels, stuff like that. So these are like pretty important, especially if you're trying to like build topical authority as well. Like try to think of questions before somebody or Try to think of questions that people will have prior to purchasing your product or your service, and also think of questions that people might have after purchasing your product or your service, and that basically helps when it comes to growing topical authority. Also, if you guys do want this N8N workflow, it is in the Hustlers playbook, so feel free to join that. We've got the N8N workflow stuff here. We've got some SEO stuff. The actual classrooms are being filled out a lot more. I also do have a weekly mastermind call every single Friday at 3 p.m. I do go live in the actual group. That's where you guys can ask me anything about like any SEO tools that you want me to test out, any AI tools as well that you want me to test out prior to you actually purchasing it. So feel free to join that. It's only $7 a month. The price will be increasing when we have got 15 members. So right now we're less than 15 members at the minute. Also, if you guys do want to learn more about SEO, head over to themasterminders.com. I am hosting an in-person SEO conference on the 27th of June. We've also got a starting party on the 26th, and we've got a private mastermind on the 28th. We've got the likes of Craig Campbell speaking, Lara Costa, James Dooley, Carrie Rose, Mial Suski, and many, many more. So go and grab your tickets while you can, and I will see you guys there.